Alright, so let's start with ZBrush sculpting. ZBrush is the industry standard for character creation. People take more than 50% of their time in ZBrush to massage their character or creating the character from scratch. This is how ZBrush looks like. Actually, not like this. This is my custom UI. It should be more like this one. Okay. Anyway, so for us, we can start with something fairly simple, like a dynamic sphere. By the way, this is a LAT box. You can click that to open and close it. It should be open in the default settings when the first time you open ZBrush, and you go to project and then look for this thing called Dynamic Sphere 128. Okay, double click on it to open it in the scene. You can see now you got a ball here. Alright, to navigate in ZBrush, you click and drag your left mouse button to rotate the camera. Okay, and then holding down Alt while dragging it is how you move the camera up and down, left and right, like panning the camera. Okay. And then holding down Alt and right mouse button while you're panning, you can release the Alt button. You can see now you're zooming in and out. Okay, so that's the basic navigation. All right, you can see there is a floor, and that floor can be turned off by clicking on this floor here to turn that off. Okay, now you can see we have a sphere in the middle. Now there are many ways to create a base model. The most flexible way will be the way we're showing you here, which is we start with nothing, just a ball, and then we can sculpt everything we want. But just keep in mind that there are many other ways, like in the LAT box, inside of project, you have some pre-built models for you. You can have some. You also have some pre-built creature structures done by ZSphere. And underneath tools, you also have those basic bodies. If you feel like you're not a professional artist and you don't know the anatomy and the basic proportion very well, you can start with any of these. Okay. But if you want to do serious work, I do encourage you to start from something basic like a sphere and then build your work from there. Okay. Anyway, so let me turn off the light box. You can also see my brush has another dot on the other side. You can see that there's another dot, right? And that means the symmetry is turned on. The shortcut is X button. You can turn that on and off like this. Okay, and then you can hold it down S and drag to make your brush bigger or smaller. You can also see that's where it is. Okay. All right. In ZBrush, when you're sculpting something, you have a lot of brushes to work on. Here underneath the brush tab, brush button here, you can see, you click on it, you can see a lot of brushes. And not only these, in ZBrush, there are a lot of more brushes. If you go to the brush tab underneath LAT box, you can see a lot of brushes. Okay, but the primary ones that are useful to start with are these already loaded. Okay, so let me turn off the light box. Alright, so to change the shape of the sphere, you can now start drawing on it. You can see you're sculpting it. Okay. Alright. This top row here is the history. You can drag that back and forth to go back and forward through the history. Or just like a usual program, you can control Z to go back. Okay. Undo the things you have done. Now there are many brushes, but we will start with something fairly simple. I don't use a lot of brushes when I'm sculpting. It's just a few, 4 brushes in total, actually, in many cases. Those 4 brushes are surprisingly no standard. The brush I use the most is Clay Build Up. Okay, so if you click on it, you can see this is how the brush looks like. Let me make my brush smaller and start sculpting. You can see it's basically building up the volume or the shape you're creating. Okay, quite convenient. Another brush will be the move brush. which is not here on the top row, but somewhere here, right? Somewhere down here. So it's this one, move. Okay, move brush allows you to move the structure around. Okay, like you're dragging them out. Another one will be the damp standard, which is, let's see if we can find it. When you're looking for some brush and you don't know where it is, you can hit the B button to open the brush tab, and you can hit the first letter of your brush, in this case the D button on the keyboard. And then you can see that's the damp standard I'm talking about. Okay, so the shortcut is BDS basically. So if you say BDS and you quickly switch to damp standard, now you can see what this one does is basically cutting a line inwards. Okay, create a little valley or crease or wrinkle. Okay, we Control Z to go back. The last one I use a lot is this one called Edge Polish, which is this one. Okay. You can also see the new brushes you selected at the bottom will be added to the top row, or this quick pick area, like the Edge Polish damp standard move. That's the thing we were working on before, right? If you choose those brushes, they will be added to the quick pick. Okay. But still, like going through the menu and then select it will be time consuming. So I oftentimes give them custom shortcuts. For example, for the clay build up, you can see it's over here, right? I can holding down Control and Alt together and click on it. And this is going to give me a option to choose a shortcut. And you can say, you can pick a shortcut right now by hitting the shortcut, which is for me the 2 button on the keyboard. You can also see here the same hotkey is already assigned because that's my setup already. But yours should be saying successfully assigned the shortcuts. Now every time you hit the 2 button, you go back to Edge Polish. Let me holding down Control Alt and click on the damp standard I used earlier and hit the 1 button on the keyboard. You can see I'm already sending the shortcut before. And one more for the move, Control Alt and click and hit the 3 button on the keyboard. And then Edge Polish, Control Alt and click on it. I'm gonna hit Alt plus 2 button. Okay, that's how I lay out my shortcuts. Okay. So you can spend some time, and I'm gonna give you some time to work on your shortcuts for those 4 brushes and think about what's your preference on those shortcuts. It doesn't have to be like mine, but I do encourage you to have some basic shortcut set up so that it's easier for you to switch to those different brushes. Now I will introduce more brushes when we need them, but for now let's just keep things simple and start making something. Okay, alright, so let's actually go ahead and start changing the shape a little bit. I'm gonna hit 3 button to go to move and then make my brush bigger. Again, holding down S and drag is how you do it. Now you can go to the front view, and while you're getting close to the front view, you can hit you can holding down the shift button, you can see the model snaps to a front view. Okay, let me go back. Okay, you can see now we're having a perfect symmetrical geometry facing us. Let me make my brush just a little bit more bigger, just around the same size as its ball here. I'm gonna go to the bottom and drag down. I'm using the move brush. I'm dragging down the ball to make it more like a oval shape, or more like the face of a human. Okay. Now let me rotate to the side view and holding down Shift, and I can also fine tune the side view of this face shape. Okay. Now for a human head from the back, it's not going to be a perfect sphere, but rather you have the high ground over here, and it's going down towards the front, another high ground on the back. Okay, like that. Okay, so if you can point those 2 things out, this one, it's like a golden ratio from the front to the back. Find the golden ratio towards the back, and that's where the high ground. And the same thing goes to the side, to the back. Okay, it's something around the middle. Okay, and that's another high ground. And then you have smooth curve connect to them. Okay, all right, cool. So one more thing you want to be able to tweak is the perspective. For now, it's on in the default setting for that particular Dynamesh sphere we opened. You can hit the P button or click there to turn it on and off. Okay. Alright. So to start with, you want to turn it on, but you don't want it to be too dramatic. You can go to the draw and say, I want the angle of view to be something different. 50 is okay in many cases, but if you wanted to see lesser distortion because of the perspective, you can lower down that value to something around 30. Now you will see there is lesser distortion. Okay. Alright. So that's some basic control already. And it's 10 minutes already for this video, so we're gonna move on to the next one and talk about more stuff. Okay, see you next time.